Hello everyone, this is your friend Saurav again from Tech Geeks 10. First of all, welcome to my YouTube channel. The channel is for them who'd like to learn about Microsoft SQL Server, cloud, and other technologies related to the databases. I love to explore emerging technologies, fresh ideas, and would continue to read, understand, and share with you all. If you like my videos, please go ahead, like, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell icon for all future notifications. With this, let's start with today's topic about the cool features of Microsoft SQL Server 2019. Here you can see that so I actually have prepared about 16 slides, and and it contains top 10 cool features and one bonus feature of the new SQL Server 2019. The focus is more for developers and DBAs about how to improve upon the overall performance and few of the coolest features to choose from. However, there are many other available features that the new software release offers. You can check the Microsoft MSDN article to go in depth about each and every topic. I have divided the entire section in two parts. The part one covers until MDS. So we are now in big data clusters and we'll cover 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So till the sixth part we are going to cover. And the part two is going to cover the remaining sections. So from managed instances and hyperscale till the end, we'll cover in the next section. So I missed to address this point here. You can download this software from this link which is provided. So this is still in 2019 preview. It's in CTP version, so you can download, you can play around to see what's the new, how the version looks like. You can try. Now this is one interesting point, which is early adoption program. So you can join by clicking the early adoption program. So this is the below URL. You can click, it will take you directly to the page. Now, what exactly this early adoption program? So you can join in this program by clicking the link as described in the screen. And such programs are designed specifically for customers who wants to test the product thoroughly and provide their own recommendation or feedback for the improvement of the product. So you can take part in their the early adoption program, and then you can understand and also give the feedback. So that's what it says. So now it's obviously a cool feature. You can get your company added and be part of it. Now moving on, the next page, we have all the features I have documented. Now it doesn't mean that SQL Server 2019 only offers these features, but as I said earlier, my focus is more to cover the features relevant to databases. So I think these all are the best features which probably we can try to see if we can implement into our day-to-day project. Probably if we are using this, then definitely it's gonna be a big plus point. um, let's reiterate about what are the all 10 cool features. So first is the big data clusters. Second is the database engine. Third is the index. Fourth is the data virtualization. Fifth is the in-memory databases. Sixth is the master data services, that is very popularly named as MDS. Next point is the managed instances and hyperscale storage, followed by security features. Next is the SSMS 18.0. And then we have Azure Data Studio for SQL Server. And the last, we have the SQL Graph. So with this, let's move on with the big data clusters. Now, what actually is it offers? So it combines the SQL Server database engine, Spark, and HDFS cluster into a unified data platform. This capability is named as Big Data Cluster. It offers bidirectional integration with Big Data Hadoop and Apache Spark systems. So if you take a look at the right side, it basically has two pictures. So the first one um, is more related to what we are talking about. So you can see, the Spark, the SQL Server, and there is a container. It's actually connected to the HDFS data node, and then we have the Kubernetes pod. Okay, so that's how the architecture, very high level. Okay, so you can even check, for example, the big data clusters are essentially difficult to deploy, as we all know, but if the right Kubernetes infrastructure is available, a single command can be used to deploy the big data cluster in less than an hour. So you can see how powerful is that. So you can certainly try, if in your environment you need this kind of capability, you can try to intervene. It also can integrate the data from both structured and unstructured data sources. It can process various big data and relational data sources using Transact SQL from SQL Server using Polybase. So in this picture, you can see we have the analytics service, we have the apps, and in between the T-SQL, which is connected to again the engine, and you can use the Polybase external tables. Now, when we talk about it connects or create a bridge between structured and unstructured data source, that says open database connectivity. So these are the database connectors available. We have the NoSQL platform like Mongo or Azure Cosmos, or we have the relational databases, that namely SQL Server, Teradata, or Oracle, and then we have the big data, which is Cloud Data, Spark, and Hortonworks. So these all are the external tables which actually can connect and talk together. Okay. The pictures are taken from Microsoft Cloud Block. They have documented very well, and that is really helpful for everyone to really see and understand how the cluster looks like. The next point is the accelerated data recovery. The short name is ADR. Now, what is this ADR and what it does? So ADR basically changes the way SQL Server maintains the durability of transactions, and it dramatically reduces the time required for crash recovery, availability group failover, and transaction rollback. It is in public review in Azure SQL Database and Data Warehouse. Soon it will be added to all the existing and new DBs and Data Warehouse in Azure. Now, what is the internal mechanism? So it uses a persistent version store in the database, so which is no longer in TempDB version store for read committed snapshot isolation. This works in coincidence with a process named as logical revert, which reads the version store and which is responsible for instantaneous rollback and undo. There also exists nearly in-memory and cleanup components that offer background processing to support the overall process. Now, when we need to consider this feature, when the workload is heavy or against the long running transactions, or when the active transaction logs is growing considerably. Okay. And the third, maybe another point for using this ADR could be extended period of the database is unavailable due to SQL Server long running recovery processes. So these are the majorly the three considerations when people try to use this ADR. You can always try to see at your environment and see which option, whether that fits into your environment and requirement, and then you can try to implement this feature. Moving on, the next topic is the indexes. um, Here we want to touch base about two topics. One is the resumable online index creation, and second part is the Columnstore index. So the resumable online index creation, this feature is nothing new. It is started since 2017, which offers a great flexibility to pause and resume the online index rebuild operations. However, in 2019, it offers additional features of max duration as well in the same syntax to offer a runtime cap. So how the syntax looks like? So the max duration equals 5 minutes. So this is the new addition basically. So it can limit basically how long we would like to run the index, because typically in a transactional environment, running an index for a very longer period can be a trouble. So this way you can allow how long the index probably can allow you to run in the platform. The other part is the column store index enhancements. Now it can create or build the cluster column store indexes online without taking any downtime or maintenance window. Again, it's only possible if the traditional cluster index to cluster column store index basically takes place the same way the existing cluster index has created. Also, it improved the performance for bulk import to column store indexes. And the last feature which we saw is the low memory load path for column store indexes, so which are very good. If you have a data warehousing application where you need to frequently use the column store index for the improved performance, you can always try to see the enhanced feature which is offered in 2019. The right side, I actually used a picture, so it's found, under, it's open license, so I just used it to explain how does it look like. So the B-tree index for OLTP covers the entire row store table. The column store index for analytics covers the warm data. So you can see this is how the row store table looks like. This is the warm data and this is the hard data. So the B-tree index covers pretty much all the table. It covers everything. The next topic is the data virtualization. So we all know by now what is the virtualization, but what is this data virtualization? So the data virtualization solution, which is an improvement to the existing ETL process, permits sitting in data from different sources such as Oracle, maybe DB2, Cosmos, MongoDB, and Hadoop distributed file system without moving the data around. So in the picture, if you look at, you can see, the same other databases. It's actually lying, together using a virtual layer. It can connect and it can talk, and this is the HDFS. So now a single virtual data layer, basically, which is the data layer here, if you follow my mouse. So the single virtual data layer carries unified data services that actually supports multiple applications. So if you have multiple applications using this data layer, it can support the connectivity. This virtual data layer is named as the data hub or the data lake. So that's very popularly known as data lake. Data is processed through this layer. So through this particular layer, the data is processed. This layer also works as a data controller between several data sources. SQL Server 2019 again lets us to assimilate data from structured as well as unstructured data sources. So it can consume data from both the sources. So it's more like it's not within the boundary of structured data anymore. Now we can also process dissimilar big data and relational data sources using the Transact SQL from SQL Server itself using the polybase feature, which we discussed in previous two slides basically. Now, the next topic is the in-memory databases. So TMDB metadata contention has historically been a bottleneck to scalability for many workloads running on SQL Server. SQL Server 2019 preview introduces a new feature that is part of the in-memory database features family, memory optimized TMDB metadata, which effectively removes this bottleneck and unlocks a new level of scalability for the TMDB heavy workloads. In SQL 2019 preview, the system tables involved in managing TMDB metadata can be moved into latch-free, non-durable, memory-optimized tables. In order to opt into the new feature, we can always use the below script. So basically, it is an alter server configuration, set memory optimized, this keyword. So set memory underscore optimized, TMDB metadata equals on. So using this feature, you can make make the in-memory databases feature turn on. The next important topic is the hybrid buffer pool. So what is hybrid buffer pool? So it offers the database engine to directly access data pages in database files stored on persistent memory, PMEM devices. This feature is introduced in SQL 2019 preview. In a traditional system without the PMEM, that is the persistent memory, SQL Server caches data pages in the buffer pool. With hybrid buffer pool, SQL Server skips performing a copy of the data into the DRAM based portion of the buffer pool and instead accesses the page directly on the database file that lives on a PMEM device. Read access to data files on PMEM devices for the hybrid buffer pool is performed directly by following a pointer to the data pages on the PMEM device. So now we can understand it's how useful and flexible these buffer pool things are. The hybrid buffer pool feature is available for both the Windows and the Linux as well. Okay, so how you want to enable the hybrid buffer pool? So you have to, it's a server level feature. So you have to alter the existing configuration through alter server configuration, set memory underscore optimize, hybrid buffer pool is equal to on. So you're turning on this feature through this way. Now, if you want to enable this feature on a specific database, instead of making the server, you just mention the database and the database name and set the memory optimized equals on. So it will basically get on. Note, it is not recommended actually to enable the hybrid buffer pool on instances with less than 16 GB of RAM. So be careful if in case you have specific instance with a less than of 16 GB RAM, it's probably, you need to upgrade or probably you cannot use for a better performance. Now our next point is the master data services, MDS. So we all know about master data services. It's pretty much used for quality and other data quality and other checking purposes. So the Silverlight support of master data services is no longer required. So which is a big plus. Earlier we needed to install the Silverlight for the display purposes. Now the HTML controls will now perform the same functionality. So we don't need to explicitly install the Silverlight. And the next part is the host master data services on a managed instance. So it can host that feature basically. So with this, this is the end of part one of the SQL 2009 feature. Don't forget to leave us a comment before you go. Also, let us know what are the other technical topics you want to see as videos, and also join us in the next session, that is part two of SQL Server 2009. Thank you. Thank you all.